Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 256. We're back down in the basement to talk about another week of professional wrestling. I probably sound a bit different.
It's actually, now that we've started, it oddly doesn't sound as bad.
Okay, good. I did take some cold medication.
Yeah, I swear 2 minutes ago it sounded still like crap.
May have kicked in a bit better.
I think so.
So, yeah, I'm fighting an illness that I'm not surprised because many people where I work seem to be fighting an illness. So I figured it was coming. I actually took a day off work for sickness yesterday, which almost never happens. So far, you're okay. Your mother's not feeling great either, but we're still going to persevere and push through and talk about a whole bunch of wrestling. We'll go back a week to talk about Money in the Bank. We'll touch on Worlds Collide. We watched it, but I don't think we'll talk a ton of it.
Yeah.
It felt like kind of like an exhibition more than...
I agree.
So anyways, we'll touch on it.
It kind of makes sense in the context of that partnership.
It does.
But still.
And then we will always deep dive into AEW Dynamite. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about NXT. We'll do some trivia. We'll do some news. Timestamps for everything so you can find whatever you like and listen to that. If you'd like to skip us talking about nonsense at the beginning, I don't know what nonsense to talk about. You are approaching your final 2 days of high school.
No exams, so I'm quite literally out in a matter of less than a week.
2 days. Monday, Tuesday, you have regular classes, and then you're done. Mm-hmm. How's it feel? Exciting?
I was kind of talking to my last period teacher. I was just like, it hasn't quite kicked in for me yet.
Yeah, it won't until you
it's like
are done and don't have to go back.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just kind of, like, I can feel it's coming, but it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm like, I guess I'm kind of relieved because I just feel kind of done with it.
Yeah,
especially this week. I've
pretty common.
Woken up early so many different times. It's just like,
yeah, you had a grad breakfast, right, where teachers and stuff cook you breakfast.
It was after that day because we had the grad breakfast where they made food, and then basically it was just like explaining grad day.
Yes,
which was so much information that went over my head.
Yeah,
like I couldn't
show up, get a gown, walk across stage.
Tell you 3 things maybe. Yeah, at most.
Got to plan your outfit.
Yeah, and then like that night, I then had to stay up finishing assignment until really late. So then like Thursday, I had no energy. Like we were watching Dynamite, and I was just like, I don't want to watch Collision.
We did not even watch the Collision half of.
I was just like, I don't want to. Like,
and I heard in hindsight that it was very Collision-y, is what I've heard.
Yeah,
I don't think
figured it would be. I figured I wasn't taking a hard gamble on that.
You were not, I don't think.
So I was just like, I couldn't do it.
So yeah, we'll cover the first 2 hours of that.
We'll cover our usual Dynamite. I think last week proved we don't need to do it.
I think so.
Really?
I think so too.
I really am just like, okay, let's do it.
We gave it a shot the first week, and it was
fine.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing pickleball last 2 nights, so that's good. My leg held up from whatever was wrong with it, so it felt pretty good. Played all right. I don't know. Father's Day coming up. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there that listen, and I think that's probably a few. And I will be probably at a basketball tournament for your brother.
Likely.
For sure, games on Saturday, which is today when you're listening to this.
Maybe I'll come depending on like what your plans are. If you want.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
And then Sunday,
like, if you're doing brunch or dinner.
Probably
whatever.
Something. But you can wait. It depends. I think how he does
what Mom was saying.
Saturday
it depends
will
on tomorrow,
determine Sunday. But
can't ever have a sure thing with this.
No, we'd always just know he has games, and it could be the whole weekend.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. Anything else you want to discuss?
I'm boring.
I'm about ready to get moving because we got extra stuff to cover. So I say we do that now. First segment where we specifically talk about wrestling. It's some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. I feel like I'm dealing in some rumors this week, but that's okay because sometimes
it was kind of a light week.
More interesting than the news sometimes are some of the rumors.
And you got to follow through on the promise of the news and rumors.
Yes.
It can't just be news.
And no ratings. There's no ratings.
It was never news and ratings. True, so I'd argue it was never necessary for you to do that, and you look like a fool for years on end.
It just became a thing. Yeah. Reports, always my favorite way to start, which means rumor probably, of a mainstream artist making a theme for Rollins' new group.
The Vision.
Also expected to receive their official name soon. You think it's the Vision?
I think it's the Vision. I mean, realistically speaking, what else can you call them?
Yeah.
I think.
I told you we missed out on an opportunity because who was it? Pollock?
I think it was Pollock.
Calls them the Seth Riders.
Which I think
is damn, that's one of those we should have thought of that first.
Well, it was the Forbidden Door parody too.
Yes.
Prohibited Portal, I think it was.
Yes, it was good. Like, I think that might have been Poison Rana.
Because, like, I think our claim to fame is Smash Contraption.
Yes, it is.
That's my favorite one I think we've done. But the fact that we didn't come up with Seth Riders is really funny to me.
And so
it's really bad.
It sounds like it might be Rollins' new theme, but that the faction uses it.
I could see that, yeah.
I'm surprised because his current theme gets them all singing and whatnot.
I think that's why though.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're heels.
Heel, yeah, I guess.
So I think like they want to get rid of it. It's like remember when Nakamura's theme, which is like it's awesome, but then they put the Japanese rapping over it to like combat the people singing. Yeah, I think it's like that.
I guess AEW doesn't seem to care that people sing. We hurt people a lot, but
yeah, but now it's like I guess not, but now it's I think MJF's kind of their heat magnet, and
he is.
They're definitely they felt more heel this week.
They did,
especially right.
They
so
did
like,
for
stuff
sure.
like that.
Yep, we'll get to that for sure.
Mariah May has been renamed to Blake Monroe.
Yes,
which apparently is an homage to her niece, and then obviously Marilyn Monroe.
Yes,
and apparently she shares a name with an adult film performer.
So
that's good stuff.
Interesting.
That's better than Gunther being a Nazi.
Yeah, that's true. And I watched the segment twice, and I put it on for you, the Mariah May segment, and they really leaned into like that they weren't saying
she's the
her
glamour,
name.
she's the glamour,
and like her name is, or whatever.
I'm already iffy on her presentation. I think like I don't think it's outright bad, and I don't think I'm allowed to judge yet, but like it just I don't know. It doesn't.
Does it feel a tiny bit like they're trying to do their own Tony Storm?
A little bit.
Right?
And it just
Too soon to say for sure.
It doesn't quite strike me right, though, whatever it is.
I know.
It just, if, like you said, I think you said it felt campy, and I think that doesn't fit her.
If that is the right word, yes.
Like, I think I see what you're saying.
And she was presented so
She was never campy. Or, like, cartoony. Or,
she was almost perfect for me in AEW.
Like, she had a pretty flawless run.
Hoping this is just a rumor that Vince, redacted as we call him a lot of times, is not happy with WWE creative direction and could buy the company back. Please no. And that money could come from his ties to the Saudis, who have deep pockets to say the least. So
I don't want him to, but at the same time, TKO is making me think, what if he did?
What is the lesser of two evils? Literally evils.
Here's the
Probably.
thing. I don't really want to watch main roster anyway, so if it starts to suck, I don't care all that much.
There was good wrestling on Raw this week, I'll say that.
Because
and NXT was super notable, maybe not for all the right reasons.
The creative has started to dwindle under Triple H. Not like it's outright horrible like Vince was, but like...
But the honeymoon's over.
The honeymoon's definitely over.
For a while, it was like he could do no wrong because it's not Vince, and we generally like Triple H.
Much better than Vince, but like now it's like... I think he's had some PR slip-ups, like when like his appearances in the media scrums are not good, especially when he's like, "Oh, I didn't read the court document."
Well, and right now, the one right now, I don't know if you saw it, was he's trying to sell that the R-Truth thing was all a work.
It's not,
and kind of like being a smug prick about it, like, "Ha, you dumb fans, you fell
like
for
The
it."
Rock.
Yes.
Like The Rock.
So
right?
that's
and then also he'll say, like,
irritating.
When people ask questions about LA Knight, it's like, everyone's time comes eventually, or they good things to come to those who wait. But then you have like LA Knight, who they waited too long till when he wasn't as over, gave him a mid-card title too late, did nothing with his run, and then like wonder why people get upset.
Because he got over on his own.
I think his time's long
Kiss
past.
of death.
But, I mean, they're not renewing Karrion Kross yet, which if they let him go, then that's crazy horrible timing.
They'll be outcried and they'll bring him back. And it's all a work, brother.
Yeah.
You got worked.
I was like not happy, but like I was kind of relieved when he got released the first time because like we hated him.
Yeah.
But he's actually doing really good work right now in spite of like he's putting his own work and money into vignettes on social media. He's making the most of like these little segments.
And on Raw, it almost looks like he might even have a match soon too. That'd be crazy.
And he's paying attention to details like with the hair and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm almost willing to see what would happen if Vince would buy it back.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like it's just TKO is wearing on me.
I know.
And thing is with Vince is like he was bad for so long, and pretty much the whole time I watched, I wasn't aware of it for a while just because
you were young and dumb
into it. Yeah. But with TKO, I feel like it's worn on me so much. Like they've only been around for less than like 2 years, I think, right?
It's very in your face is the problem.
It's so relentless. In my face and egregious.
Yeah.
Like the ads are so like when we're watching Money in the Bank, it is a slog.
Imagine if we watched any of it live.
It's
no
so
shot.
bad. All the ads are in your face. All the stupid celebrities I couldn't care less about are in your face. Triple H's creative direction has dwindled. Like, I don't want Vince back, but I want TKO gone so badly.
Yep.
it's just we're in such a horrible spot because it's just
We are rocking a hard place,
pretty much right.
as they say.
It's so like it just makes WWE feel dead to me. It's just I can't do it anymore. I'm honestly kudos to you for still watching Raw.
Yep,
but
it was really long this week too.
yeah, they're gonna lose you eventually. I know you're not that
In ring good this week though.
Yeah, I don't
kept things going for me.
For me, like the in ring is just never as.
It's not as good as AEW, but it was. There were like 2 good 4-ways.
The 4-way is nice, but I think that format's gonna wear on you as they keep doing it. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how long they'll keep doing it, but
not that long because you're not watching SmackDown.
Correct.
So half of it is not there for you.
Correct.
But for most people who watch SmackDown, that's gonna suck, and that's another thing. SmackDown sucks,
and it's staying 3 hours.
And it's staying 3. Like that's the thing too. It's the hard 3 hours too because it's on cable still, right?
Yep.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn. That was me off of the Vince.
Right, it was. I'm just trying to add one right now. I was telling you the King of the Ring mystery spot got filled. It's not Ilya Dragunov.
Bummer.
It
should be
Jey Uso.
Talk about like a downgrade. Get me thinking it's Ilya Dragunov and then give me Jey Uso. That's wild.
And then I was telling you that like Rikishi's all pressed because he lost the title like in his reign was like 57 days. I'm like, and a lot of the comments thankfully are saying, and we would say like, know your kid, dude.
It's already my. I was working on the thumbnail before you came down, and it's the close up of Gunther choking him out for
the reign of terror is done, I guess.
And I think that the thumbnail's gonna say like something like Jey Uso's reign, thankfully over.
But like he's touting Jey like he's some great. He's been talking about how great Jey is and talented he is. He's not. He was saying one of his arguments was that he's more over than Gunther. Sure, but he sucks.
And the way he's over isn't a champion over. They realized, I would suggest, and I was going to say
I know
it later,
part of the reason is they wanted Gunther and Goldberg for the title, which is a horrible reason.
News. That's one of my news
That's a
stories.
horrible reason.
It is.
But that is a reason.
I also think they've seen Jey Uso is incredibly popular, but it matters not if he has a main title at all.
It doesn't.
Right? So
he never needed any title.
He doesn't
to be
feel
popular.
like a major champion and a main eventer. He is super over, but he doesn't need a belt for that.
He does not.
No.
And I don't like Rikishi's like bringing up people like Orton or I forget who else to mention. I'm like, he's like, you can say what you want about Orton in the modern day.
I'm not a fan.
He's like Orton he could carry a decent match and he also had an actual character at times.
So he has a character that he does the same thing for 20 years.
Still beats out Jey.
Probably.
But like to compare him to
anyone
Jey, to compare Jey to anyone good is actually crazy to me. And he's like
no bias
Jey
at all there.
And complaining about Jey not getting opportunities, but like he has. So Jey got stuff this year, but then like Solo's also main eventing pay-per-views last year. Like Solo wasn't good either.
No, he wasn't.
And apparently I've heard that they're looking to reunite the Usos. I would do that because the tag division's dead in the water, and Jey sucks, and Jamie's doing nothing.
And we have loved the Usos as a tag team in the past. So
I
could run that back.
Heel Usos because their promos were like
Uso Penitentiary was cool.
You want to talk about unique promo styles? I love like Jay White or Pac or I don't know whoever else that we like in AEW. The Usos in their prime were awesome. Like either 2017 Usos or even when they were in the Bloodline, there's the one promo against the Judgment Day that I love where they're like listing off everyone they've been. Or that promo battle they had with the New Day right before they were about to break the tag title record.
Yep.
Just like their back and forth and dynamic was so great, especially as heels. As babyfaces, I could see it working still. But as heels, they were so good together and it fell apart.
It did. They should bring it
much
back.
like the Bloodline.
Yep.
In general.
I just put this in because it made me laugh. There was a post on social media that says Jade Cargill expected to receive a huge push heading into Evolution 2. Trinity's reply to that post, yeah, a push down the stairs, ha 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 ha.
She's really funny.
She is funny.
I've seen a lot of her tweets. They're really funny.
She's not good enough to make me want to watch SmackDown, but if I were to, she would be one of the reasons I would.
She would be one of the things I watch, yeah. I saw Jade Cargill's also in a movie with Jonathan Majors.
I don't know who that is.
He was Kang in the Marvel movies, but he lost his spot because of, I think it was domestic abuse allegations and whatever. So, yeah, he basically got like booted from Marvel. Like he was supposed to be, because there's Avengers movies coming soon. He was supposed to be like the next big thing, but he got like out because he had all of his legal crap to.
Yeah.
And there was something where I think he basically admitted to it. So yeah, he's not. if he's still getting roles, it can't be major roles, right? So clearly she's not in a major spot.
Right. That would make sense.
But anyways, and also doesn't surprise me that WWE wouldn't care about that.
And speaking of not knowing who people are saying the Mariah May vignette was, you even said,
Sabrina Carpenter,
who I literally have never heard of in
Look
my
her
life.
up. She's literally like Jordan. I was telling you, Jordan
and
Grace.
I feel 1,000 years old.
Jordan Grace is buff Sabrina Carpenter. She's like one of the big pop singers right now.
No idea. Never heard her
but
name in my life.
See Jordan Grace though, right? Like just look at the hair and the blondness, right?
The bangs
like
are there.
Jordan Grace is buff Sabrina Carpenter. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
I was telling you AEW are uploading full matches on YouTube.
You were telling me.
Which is pretty cool. It's said to be a tactic to get more eyes on their streaming stuff and to advertise it. So I think that's kind of smart.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE tends to do this.
They do.
On their YouTube.
I've been watching The Vault a lot, actually.
I like it. It is. I should watch that more.
WCW 94.
I saw they just put up remember they did that documentary on the Tom McGee match?
Yeah.
I just saw they put that up.
I've
so that's
seen
kind
that.
of cool. That's a nice way to get used to that network footage. And the way that YouTube's monetized now, they'll still make money off of it, right? Because you think like even with Worlds Collide, it's like, oh, it's free on YouTube. Yeah, but you get a lot of revenue from the mid rolls or pre-video ads and stuff like that. So they'll still make money off of it. And so I like AEW doing it, especially because we don't have Max yet.
No, we do not.
So they had a couple older ones. They have Mox, Joey Janela from Fyter Fest 2019. Mox Omega, the Lights Out match from Full Gear 2019, which I don't remember watching it. I remember it being pretty controversial for the big barbed wire spots, but I don't remember watching it. We also got Sabre versus Danielson and Christian Darby from Wrestle Dream 2023. That was the one where they like destroyed the ring, and Darby got dropped on the stairs with his hands zip tied, and then Copeland debuted after.
Right.
Willow Monet, Double or Nothing 2024, and then most notably we have the greatest tag team match ever. It's free on YouTube, so that's great because we could rewatch that, which I would love to do.
I feel like that's 40-something minutes, isn't it?
I think it's only half an hour.
Oh, was it?
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
And then the greatest match ever, bar none, Forbidden Door 2023. I was there actually. Apparently some of them don't have commentary, but I checked the two that I care about and they have commentary, so I think we should
add our own commentary and post it.
That'd be kind of interesting.
I don't know if
I've
that's
seen
a
people do that.
copyright violation. Or...
I've seen people do that. I think you could like probably make it quiet enough, and then like I think as long as you're adding something to it enough, it's like, but like if you're videoing it,
we make no money off anything, so come get us.
Yeah, that's true.
Get at me.
That's true. Or if you live stream it, maybe it's fair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then, okay, I mean we can like have two people watch it then.
That's right.
But these will tide me over until we get Max.
I could have segued this. Reports are that similar to how Jordan Grace's involvement in the TNA deal paved her way to WWE. Surprise, surprise.
Joe Hendry.
They're talking about interest in Santana and Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
so my question to you...
TNA is getting siphoned as we speak.
Is this arrangement good for TNA?
No.
What is this doing?
It's not.
They now have Trick.
I saw they have a slap ban now, too.
And it looks like...
They're banning slaps in matches?
Yeah. I told you, Marky D, who I really like his YouTube stuff...
They're getting more PG by the day.
...is like done with TNA because they're basically... He's always avoided... WWE, and it's like they are clearly on board with WWE and trying to do whatever WWE.
Mom says turn off her Bluetooth.
I did already.
Okay, but yeah, they're becoming more WWE by the day while getting siphoned off by WWE.
It's just basically WWE has arranged it so they can just borrow people, and if they like them, then just
they're gonna
steal
keep them.
Yeah,
so. So horrible. And then TNA also takes their trash, like Indy Hartwell, and like.
I'll be happy for Santana because he's cool.
Yeah,
Hendry,
and that's good for him. Hendry, yeah. But I mean, I don't care. I don't watch TNA. I don't care about TNA.
Stopped. Yeah, I
do feel bad for them. Like we always said, TNA will never die, but they will get killed by the TKO machine,
or they'll exist as a farm thing for like
AAA or something
below NXT.
They'll become Evolve.
Basically. They're comparable, probably. That's crazy. But anyways, I'm done with news.
A couple more. Omos has re-signed. I saw someone theorizing he would join the Vision.
Congratulations.
Because Wiles with this re-sign. I was like, please no.
No.
Although that's like one of the only good things on main roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, I said that might get me to watch Raw.
No.
That's not been true.
No, it hasn't.
So I hope Omos doesn't. He's not
good at wrestling. He's
someone,
very, very large.
For someone getting paid to wrestle, he doesn't wrestle very good.
He does not.
And then finally, apparently the plan for Ospreay All-In is him and Swerve against the Bucks, which definitely seems like the play after this week.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like that's where we're going. And I think that sounds fantastic. I could see it. That I think it makes sense too, and it because with the altercation last week and the match this week, we seem to have Ospreay and Swerve kind of having coexisting issues, I guess, and then
Can
also
they coexist?
this would further them trying to help Hangman as they're gonna take out the Bucks on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the match would be killer. Like I said this before about other matches, but it's very Revolution 2020 vibes. You have two killer singles guys teaming against the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go wrong. Sounds awesome.
It does.
I'm definitely looking. I hope that's the plan. It definitely feels like it's the plan. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, I love tag team wrestling, so bring it on. Okay, I guess we'll move into talking about wrestling. The first thing we'll do is go back in time to last Saturday, quickly run down a couple PLEs, and that will be Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. I guess Worlds Collide quickly. All I really wanted to say was I enjoyed quite a bit the final two matches. The four-way, I thought was really good. I
definitely didn't pay attention to the four-way.
I thought Ethan Page was a really good heel and base for everybody else in that match, and I thought it was very entertaining. And Page ended up retaining. I don't even remember how. And the main event was really enjoyable with Vikingo.
It was quite good. People were calling it match of the year. I would not go that far.
Very good match though.
Very good. I thought people saying it's to see they'd like to see what AEW puts up against it. I could name at least
Swerve Ospreay
5 matches
opener.
better. Swerve Ospreay, Ospreay Takeshita, Ospreay Fletcher, Omega Takeshita, May Storm. There's my 5.
Yeah. So
Kevin
there
Knight,
was a
Ospreay
hiccup
even.
in the middle of it. It started out holds and counters, but I thought
I thought it got really good.
Well done.
The table moonsault was awesome. The destroyer on the apron was awesome. The 630.
Gable got absolutely spiked on a couple spots.
Yeah.
The 630 to the floor.
Vikingo's really cool, and if that's the WWE fans' first introduction to him, it's pretty good. Like Vikingo's really sick. We've seen him before.
The rest of the show was fine.
From what I remember, the opener was the LWO one, right?
Yeah.
Iguana is not our cup of tea. Mr. Iguana was really popular after that.
We're not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it. That match was fine, but too many
Was
tumble
that
spots. Like
Pagano, I thought he looked.
No, that was the other match.
He looked rough. I thought
he looked really rough. But the first match, it was too much Iguana antics and too many like hurricanes or arm drag like tumble spots. You know what I mean? Like too many of those lucha.
Too big a lucha dose for me.
Yeah.
I like the lucha style, but not a full show of it.
Yeah.
You can only see so many transitions to head scissors and arm drags.
Yeah, the opener was too many like hurricane, head scissor, arm drag spots. The other trios match was honestly not as notable because Pagano looked like crap.
He did.
Psycho Clown is a cool mask, but I don't remember him doing anything.
Everything was fine.
That one was fine.
The women's match,
women's tag wasn't great.
I wasn't super impressed by any of the AAA women so much.
No, I didn't think so.
But it was fine.
Yeah.
And then Legato did what they do.
Like, it was an okay show.
Yeah, it just felt kind of exhibition-y, so I didn't really have a lot of thoughts, other than I thought the final two matches were worth checking out, and everything else was fine. Nothing was bad, but nothing grabbed my attention either. Mm-hmm. Money in the Bank, we'll talk about a bit more, and you have to revisit our over-under accurate. Or sorry, that too, but also our certainty scores.
Right, yeah, that's what we need to do. Which I think
but also over-under accurate if you want to pull it up on Cage Match.
Yeah.
So the show opens with the women's Money in the Bank match. So I didn't even write down who was in it. Let me see if I remember. Roxanne Perez.
Yep.
Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan?
No.
It's
Vicaire and Julia.
Oh, there you go. Wow, I forgot about Vicaire and Julia.
Yeah.
Two of my favorites.
This is Vicaire's third match in, I think, 24 hours because she was on Worlds Collide and she wrestled on SmackDown the day before.
She's prolific.
Pretty crazy.
So just a few highlights, and then we'll get to the finish. Nothing too detailed on this. Roxanne did counter a Razor's Edge attempt from Ripley. Kind of turned it into a Hurricane Rana, I guess, that left Ripley on the ladder.
It was a little late. Like,
it
didn't look perfect.
It did not. And then Roxanne followed up with a springboard moonsault to Ripley on the ladder. Julia and Roxanne worked together for quite a while, right? Including classic, burying Ripley under a bunch of ladders, which they struggled to pile up a little bit.
Yeah.
Out on the floor. And then Roxanne eventually turned on Julia, right? I think it was. Vaquer hit the Devil's Kiss to Ripley on a ladder bridge. We got synchronized.
Pat McAfee is so much worse with that than Booker T.
Oh, that can't be true.
No, Pat McAfee just makes everything worse.
Synchronized Code Reds by Bliss and Roxanne.
That took way too long to set up.
Off of a ladder onto ladder bridges on other side.
Took way too long to set up.
Naomi then tips the ladder with Bliss and Ripley on it, sets the ladder back up, climbs up, grabs the case, wins. 25 minutes. Better than average, nothing special? My thoughts?
I'd go, so cage match gives it 6.42.
I'm pretty accurate. I went 3 1/4. I thought slightly better than average.
I'd go 3. I thought for a ladder match, it was really meh.
There was I don't think there's anything.
The spots were solid, but not
nothing I'm going to remember in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it really felt like a nothing sandwich of a ladder match.
But nothing glaringly bad. Everyone worked hard.
No.
They were willing to take risks. I thought just better than average, so I went 3 1/4 if 3 is kind of average for me.
Yeah.
So a little bit better than that. Again, Naomi wins. I picked that.
Which I think is a good pick.
What was my
You got that
score?
with 3, and I dropped 4 on that, so I kind of got screwed.
That's big. I like that. Then we get, for some reason, well, it came out of Worlds Collide, right? Dom Mysterio.
But we watched it after, so...
Yeah, Dom Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. for the IC title. And during Worlds Collide, they did make a lot of mention of how Octagon Jr. loved Rey Mysterio and would work at the flea market to earn money to buy Mysterio merch.
I'm going to be so honest and
stuff like that.
Say I don't remember them mentioning that ever.
I do.
Because I didn't pay attention to
And
that.
so that's where Dom was like, oh, my dad's your favorite. Well, he's a deadbeat. And then it led to the match.
But I thought it's weird that Dom challenged him to a title match.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know. But Octagon looks a lot like Pentagon in his stuff.
I think that's the point. I remember
Just
seeing
3
someone
extra
saying
sides.
he's Penta was created as an opposite to him because they're both juniors, right?
Yeah.
So there's obviously the original 2.
Yeah.
And so they're made as foils, basically. That's why they look similar, like the samurai look kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I guess.
It's intentional somewhat.
So Octagon, yes, somehow deserves a title shot. We get a live distraction. Dom knocks Octagon off the top. Drop kick, 619, frog splash. Dom wins 5 minutes. So great. You put on a 5th match that was 5 minutes.
Horrible choice to put on a Peely.
Not sure.
I thought
what
it was
the
weird that
point
they
was.
had 4 matches on here and then they added this. I was like, okay, 5th match. But then it was just this is... You could have just stuck more ads, honestly.
I guess Octagon looked fine, but it was too short to even get much out of it.
I registered nothing from this match.
And then it's like, okay, so they're doing this for 5 minutes and they're going to develop some storyline afterwards. No, just over and done. Felt like an absolute filler match, right?
Nothing.
Just wanted a 5th match on the card.
Just
stuck
for
one
the
in
sake
there.
of it, yeah.
Over under accurate because we did not pick that because we didn't know what was happening.
Yeah. It was 4.7 from Cage Match.
I'm slightly under. I went 2 1/4.
I agree, 2 1/4. It's 2 for Meltzer.
Yeah, that's fair, I think. Then we get, I thought things picked up here. It's Lyra Valkyria defending the Intercontinental title against her nemesis, Becky Lynch. We have an almost wardrobe malfunction early on, and the ref helps Lyra out, exact same as has happened to her before. It's something to do with the way she has her thing tied up around her neck. There seems to be an issue. So she needs to figure that out, I think. Lyra with a nice leg drop to Lynch hanging off the barricade. Remember, that looked pretty cool. Becky with a manhandle slam on the floor. Becky can't get Lyra back in the ring. Lyra ends up hitting a Nightwing on the floor. Lots of stiff stuff on the floor for a little bit here, which I thought was good and things picked up there. We get dueling pinfall attempts. Becky ends up being successful with one of them while holding onto Lyra's tights, as commentary makes sure they tell us multiple times. So Lyra ends up losing the title. Becky wins, becomes Intercontinental Champion after 15 minutes. And as we know, there was stipulation of all stipulations attached to this. So Becky insists Lyra raises her hand. Lyra does, but that's not good enough for Becky. She wants it, facing all 4 sides. Fine. But then the part that bugged me is she insists that Lyra put the belt around her waist, which was in no way any part of anything.
I guess it's
but it led to the
overdoing it, I guess. I don't know.
But then it also, maybe Lyra agreed because that's when she hit the German and another Nightwing, right, and walks off.
I guess.
So I thought this was a really good match. I think I liked it more than you.
I didn't pay attention as much, and also I was not ingrained in the story, really.
Yeah. I thought hard-hitting spots on the floor, finish a little bit anticlimactic, but I guess it protects Lyra. So does the aftermath mean that the feud is over or continuing? On Raw, we sort of see it's going to another person, but Lyra still came out.
Oh, who was it?
Bailey.
Yeah, I feel like you get a triple threat at SummerSlam.
Weird, because it's just I don't know, this thing keeps going on, I guess. I thought really good competitive 15-minute match on this card. What was the over-under accurate? And who picked it?
I think we both picked it.
I'm pretty sure I picked it. I don't know about you.
I did. I got 3 and you got 2.
Nice. What was over under accurate?
7.9.
7.9. I'm a little bit under. I went 3 3/4, so that would be a 7.5. I thought it was really good.
I go 3.5.
Okay.
And Meltzer's on par with me.
Nice. The men's Money in the Bank match, we have a few highlights from that. We get Penta hitting a destroyer to Andrade on a ladder. Seth eventually calls in the rest of his group. You get Braun spearing the crap out of Americano on the floor,
like
right?
Almost Carlito style.
Reed and Breaker pull Penta and Knight off a ladder, take them out. Braun spears Knight on the floor. I think I'm going to sneeze. Reed tsunamis Andrade in the ring.
And is it? No sneeze.
Fatu and Mateo come out. They
100%.
brawl with Reed and Breaker. That is a pretty cool little standoff between those 4.
I
right?
thought it was really cool. Yeah, I don't know why you didn't pair off Fatu and Breaker.
Braun,
That's what we all want to see. But
yeah, because Braun ends up spearing Mateo through the barricade, right?
Jepu Kabu.
Fatu stands guard for Solo. Solo climbs the ladder, but in a twist, Fatu grabs Solo's ankle. Solo looks down at him, and you can sort of see Fatu saying he hates Solo.
Well, it's like the I love you Solo, except it's I hate you Solo.
Super kick.
That got a good reaction. I thought it was a really cool moment.
It did. Spinning Solo onto a ladder bridge. Rollins eventually stomps LA Knight before climbing up the ladder to grab the case for the win after 33 minutes. I know I spent a lot, I made it sound like a ton of this was Rollins guys coming down and whatnot, and there was a bunch of that, but there was a lot more going on. I like this better than the women's match this year. I don't think it was a top tier Money in the Bank match, but I did think it was good. There was a lot of
it was definitely
Rollins group and Solo's bloodline stuff going on.
It was better than the women's one. I thought there were some more notable
I
spots. I hated the fireball ladder.
Yes.
That was ridiculous.
I feel like Knight, Andrade, and Americano didn't really do a whole lot.
No, I thought Americano had a couple spots.
He's had a million matches lately, so
yeah,
he deserved to sort of... But
LA
Andrade
Knight,
was
they
there
got that hope spot again, I think, just to mess with people.
Andrade seemed like he was there to take stuff, and Knight was just kind of there.
He did that big powerbomb to Americano.
Oh, yeah, I think that's right.
But yeah, we both picked Rollins. I know that.
No, I didn't. I picked Americano.
Oh, you picked Americano, right?
And you didn't pick Rollins either.
Oh, wait, no, we both didn't pick Rollins.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right? We both crapped out on it.
Because they telegraphed Rollins winning so badly that we assumed that they probably were.
Right. I assumed we both picked Rollins. I forgot.
But I like this.
Yeah, it was good. And the result makes sense. I'm happy Rollins won.
So over under accurate?
Now Punk isn't the only one to win it twice.
Right.
But he's the only one to do it back to back. It was 7.52.
I'm accurate. I went 3 3/4, so bang on.
I agree. 4.5.
Come on.
No.
That's wild.
What
Okay.
was the one where he kept rating stuff really high? Was it?
I was disagreeing with most of his.
Was it? No, it wasn't AEW, was it?
No, I don't think so.
Was it Backlash, maybe?
Maybe.
No, because we didn't watch that.
I don't know. Main event time.
Sorry, it's main event. It might have been.
Logan Paul and John Cena taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Logan Paul's use of a drone is actually kind of cool, and I don't like to say that, but it is innovative, right?
I do think so. Like in the
the
match,
part with the superplex was
in his entrance in the match. Like I thought,
like he literally has a drone on his hand while he's getting superplexed.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
Pretty
I like
innovative.
that. I think much cooler innovation and different than the ref cam.
Yes, for sure.
Which is, I feel like, in a similar vein.
But this match, the first, I would say half to 2/3 of this was incredibly basic and boring. I was telling you in the moment, it felt like 80s style wrestling in 2025. It was Jey Uso being isolated with really basic offense from heels.
Like they would like hit a suplex and then pin him for 2. It was like,
and then they're blind,
stomp on him in the corner.
And they're blind tagging each other because they can't coexist.
This was so bad.
We got rest holds, a couple of them, a couple chin locks.
Actually, I'm going to put this in my short list. I actually really didn't like it.
It wasn't good. And then Cena and Paul's issues eventually come to a head and they're shoving each other, right? Uso hits an okay spear to Cena on the announce table. And then Paul follows up with a nasty looking moonsault to Jey through the announce table.
That was pretty sick.
So crazy to say, Logan Paul was the best part of this match.
I was going to say, easily the best part of this match is Logan Paul.
Yep.
I think most interesting, most unique.
Yep. Cena belt shot to Cody. Someone in a black hoodie runs in. It's R-Truth. Crowd responds appropriately. Belt shot to Cena. Crossroads to Cena for the babyface win after 24 minutes. We both picked it. I assumed Paul was getting pinned.
Yeah.
So I believe I won, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
I am awesome. This felt like such a WWE style match.
This is why they lose me, because compare the last two major shows between AEW and Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Your main events. You have this on one end, and then the other end it was Hangman and Ospreay.
Yeah.
Which is like, I gave that 5 stars. That's easily my favorite match of the year so far. And this doesn't hold a candle to that in any way.
I would almost argue that half of this had like house show vibes, where they put two people together and they're just kind of out there, not really trying to do anything crazy because they don't want to get hurt on a house show, right? And this was the main event.
Appealing main event.
Barely watchable for half of it.
I guarantee if there's anybody else in this kind of match, then it's not appealing main event. It's just because they can justify it off of the names.
This was about what I expected, and that wasn't much.
I'd argue it was worse than I expected.
Over under accurate?
Let's see. It's a 5.37 from
Under.
Cage Match.
I went 2.25. I thought this was trash.
I'd go 2.
Yeah.
I think it was worse. It's 3.5 from Meltzer.
That's insane.
It's not even 3. It was not good. I thought like it felt like
how
the
long was
epitome.
it? 24 minutes.
It felt like the epitome of Bloodline tags were like, or it reminded me of Fastlane 2023 where we had that pointless LWO Lash Profits match, and then there was it was Cena and LA Knight against Jimmy and Solo, and it's just like pointless matches, or Cody and Roman against Fatu and Solo, like the pointless Bloodline tags that just mean
telegraph
nothing.
What's a major pay-per-view and what isn't.
Or Money in the Bank last year, the match was Cody, Orton, and Owens against Solo, Tama Tonga, and Fatu. Like these tag matches that mean nothing.
Yep.
But are like supposed to feel big, and I'm supposed to care for some reason. Even though there's no stakes to be won from this. There's nothing to be gained. Like, who benefits from this?
Not me. Canadian math, my math says this is a Canadian C-. I guess that's fair.
I agree.
I like the Lyra Becky match, and I like the men's Money in the Bank, and then there were 2 duds and an okay women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, very lackluster. And I think looking at how Triple H has lost the sauce is evident in the PLEs, where Mania stunk dick.
Yeah.
Backlash we didn't watch, and this was not very good. Meanwhile, the Rumble and Chamber were fantastic. I think we love both of those.
And Double or Nothing was amazing.
And then AEW, Revolution was fantastic. Dynasty was really good. And then Double or Nothing was fantastic. So they're batting like, I'd say 3 for 3. Like, none of them have been, I didn't like it. Dynasty is probably the worst one. It was still really strong.
Yep.
Because the pay-per-views always are.
Yeah.
They're batting like 3 for 3. And they've had some killer TV episodes. And like, even with the 4-hour, it's been good.
I'll put it this way. I pay for all the AEW ones. I'm never disappointed. I don't pay for any WWE
At least
ones.
not like outright, because now it's just in Netflix.
Because
right?
I always had Netflix.
Yeah, so
I don't have Netflix
not,
for
right.
WWE.
Yeah.
And I'm still disappointed. Like, they're free and I get annoyed. And I pay $50 for AEW and I'm fine with it.
We have Netflix for like Office and Seinfeld and Superstore, and it's like, so basically the WWE is now stapled onto it, and it's still like
Disappoints.
lackluster. Yeah, it's just, it's not there, and
it's not for us.
Especially with the number of matches, which quality over quantity, obviously. But if we're going off of number of matches, 2 PLEs are worth an AEW pay-per-view pretty much. And it's not even close.
Nope.
Like, I'd say Double or Nothing is better than the entirety of Mania.
And WWE is now consistently, it's a 1-to-1 ratio between in-ring stuff and not. And
at the least.
Not is not like a package highlighting the storyline.
Or segments for TV even.
It's TKO nonsense.
It's TKO money grabbing.
So anyways.
Like the Fireball ladder and the Slim Jim tables, I can't stand it. Like, there's going to be logos on the chairs. I know it's coming.
Yeah, there'll be logos everywhere.
They put logos on chairs even when, like, remember when Undisputed Era had their own chairs for War Games? Like, they've done that. They print commemorative chairs for the events. They're not, like, there's no way they're not putting logos on the chairs. They're just waiting for the right sponsor. And I'm
tables, ladders, and chairs will have a whole new...
Like, TLC is going to look horrible. Okay, I saw something funny when I was watching Wrestling with Regrets review. One, he pointed out that the issue with the ladder match is that they announced the Fireball ladder ahead of time. Like, as, like, remember the Creeds were talking about...
And then it was supposed to be a special thing, yeah.
Giving it to Americano. That telegraphed which ladder they were going to use in the finish, which is kind of But I think he was saying it'd be funny, and I think it's kind of funny, too, is if TKO is going to be money grabbing, you get sponsors to bid to sponsor the ladder matches, and whoever bids the most gets to be the ladder in the winning spot. You know what I mean?
And you hope it's dude wipes every time.
And I was saying to you, they might. I should put in news, but that they're gonna put logos on ring gear now. If they had dude wipes on people's like asses,
I'll believe that one.
I think that would be hilarious.
It's not out of the question.
They're putting patches on their debuts for trading cards. We're not safe anymore.
Yeah, it's true. That's going to wrap up the PLE talk, and we'll move into the company we much prefer, their weekly offering. It is AEW, not Dynamite. What is it this week?
Summer Blockbuster?
Summer Blockbuster, at least the first half. Let's talk about that right now. First 2 hours, let's talk about it.
I guess you could call it Dynamite since that's the only portion we watched. I don't know. But yeah, I could not do Collision this week.
Yeah, you were done. And I don't think it was worth seeing anyways.
I don't think so. Thursday was not my day. But yeah, we did not watch the Collision half, which I think the only thing that was worth noting was that I know there was this one segment where Hangman was arguing with the Bucks backstage and saying like, because you know how their whole thing was it's according to plan, yada yada, and then Hangman saying like there's no plan and you know getting mad at them and whatever, and then it's in front of Swerve's locker room and you can see Nana kind of peering through the door and listening. So you know stuff like that. So it was just small furthering like that, which I kind of like. But we do kick off with Hangman and Christopher Daniels walking backstage. He says Hangman has to worry about Mox and all the Death Riders and also the Bucks because they're selfish no matter what they say. Daniels has some connections that can help Hangman, but he can't do anything himself, which I think refers to the Ops later on because TNA, Samoa Joe, right?
So Daniels has forgiven Hangman for murdering him, I guess?
Well, I think we were already kind of there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then he leaves and Hangman's kind of continuing to walk with his suitcase. And you see like Mox was disguised as like a backstage person guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of turns around and then Claudia and Yuta follow. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be followed up on later.
That's right.
Pun not intended. And we open right away with the big stuff. It's Swerve and Ospreay.
Yes, sir.
Which is sick. So a rematch of last year's Forbidden Door, I believe, back when they both
had
belts.
My first note, very good chance that this will be better than anything on Money in the Bank, and I think it was.
It's almost guaranteed just the fact that they're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both had belts last time. Now neither of them have belts because they're both losers. We get back and forth early going, like one of those things where it's just no one's getting a hit in. They're both kind of like cartwheeling and
they know each other so well at this point.
I was like, people like the tribalists get mad at this stuff, calling it gymnastics or whatever. But like we saw a bunch of this in, I think it was Gable and.
How dare you?
My bad. They're not even the same person.
How would you even?
Yeah.
What
was
mistake?
it? Was it on Money in the Bank or was it Worlds Collide where they were talking about Wade Barrett's talking about how their nipples are different?
He did talk.
It was.
About
I think it was on Money in the Bank. I was just like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
But like there was a lot of lucha gymnastics in that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like you can't pick one. Roll through flatliner from Swerve, transition to a suplex for two, the typical like roll through or rolling transition he does. Handspring, corkscrew kick, and springboard forearm from Ospreay. Swerve rolls out, and then the Sasuke special from Ospreay. Swerve caught an Oz Cutter attempt. Oz Cutter, 2 E's, 1 T. That's not right. Swerve counters the Oz Cutter with a neckbreaker midair a la Kyle Fletcher. Mm-hmm. And then he hits another neckbreaker. Third neckbreaker is countered by Ospreay into a backside for 2. House call, hidden blade, both go missed. Swerve kicks Ospreay, goes for a J-Mail. Ospreay counters, hits kind of a hidden blade. It was like kind of short, but it was hidden blade-ish. Ospreay goes for Stormbreaker, Swerve counters, tilt-a-whirl slam, suplex counter into a Stun Dog Millionaire from Ospreay, then Swerve counters an Oz Cutter into an armbar. Into an armbar. Juge gets juged. Ospreay eventually powers out, throws Swerve into the turnbuckles. Swerve standing ringside, and Ospreay dives through the bottom ropes to hit a hidden blade. I remember seeing that spot in one of the MJF matches.
That was cool. Yeah.
I think it was the hour-long one. After a check exchange, Ospreay goes for hidden blade. Swerve ducks. Ospreay goes hard in the middle of turnbuckle, like absolutely darts into the middle of turnbuckle. But that didn't break it. You know, he's no Jasper Troy.
That's right. Nowhere near.
Oh, good God. Swerve counters out of a Styles Clash. It's a Deadeye for 2, so that was kind of neat. Kind of a callback to the Double or Nothing match where Hangman was using the JML.
Right.
And Ospreay used the V-Trigger and
They're
whatnot.
like accumulating moves from their big rivals.
So I kind of like that. It's interesting. Swerve stomp misses. Ospreay annihilates Swerve with a hidden blade for near fall. Absolutely killer. Strike exchange, Swerve with an arm wringer and a brutal house call. Swerve stomp, gets a near fall. Swerve with the arm snap to Ospreay and lands the house call. Ospreay hits a hidden blade and Stormbreaker for another near fall. Ospreay goes for a Tiger Driver. Arm gives out, which Swerve was targeting throughout the match. Swerve capitalizes with a Vertebreaker. Absolutely gnarly.
Love it.
House call knocks Ospreay to the apron, and Swerve calls to get out for a Swerve stomp on the apron. The time limit goes out. Swerve says they're the best. This is where the best wrestle, but you have to prove that by finishing matches. So he wants sudden death. Then the Death Riders music hits. They walk out, surround the ring. Swerve's mouthing off to Mox, and the Bucks attack him from behind. EVP triggered. Nana gets super kicked. Swerve gets handcuffed in the corner, gets super kicked to death. Yuta slides a duffel bag to the Bucks. It's thumbtack shoes. They go for a double attack kick, but Ospreay slides in and takes the bullet, and then the heels kind of walk off.
Yep. Fantastic match.
I think I like Takeshita Ospreay a little better just because that one was just so, oh my God. But this was fantastic and a definitely contender for TV match.
Tons of cool offense from both guys absorbing a ton of punishment too. Some good near falls.
I could see some people having issue with the time limit draw, but...
And kicking out of finishers, which doesn't bother me.
No, I thought it was well done and like built the tension. But I find a lot of time when they do the time limit draws, the match is usually worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like Danielson, Omega, Danielson, Hangman. There's other ones, but like the matches tend to be worthwhile, right? Or when they do these really long ones.
They're not doing it with two people that aren't awesome.
Yeah,
generally.
right. So I thought it was still really great, and I like it because it kind of saves a decisive finisher if they ever have another pay-per-view match. Because obviously Swerve won the first time, but you could argue Ospreay's been up in his game in the past year.
Yep.
Right. So I liked it. It works.
Love the Vertebreaker. Don't see those two.
That was
often.
nice. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, I could watch these two wrestle every week if they wanted to. So they're two of the best. Awesome opener on a TV show.
And I think we had a good story in the ring with Swerve going after Ospreay's arm and the neck. They even pointed out like Ospreay tends to have neck issues where he was talking about not feeling his fingertips and whatever. Ever since like he got Tiger Driver by Fletcher first, and so it's just been like kind of a constant thing because he lost to Fletcher, went right into the C2. He's been kind of like, so it's been kind of a thing, and so I like that Swerve went after that, and then the arm also kind of played in the finish where he couldn't get the Tiger Driver.
That's right.
A lot of great back and forth, a lot of near falls that were great. Action was just stellar the whole time. And I liked the post-match too. It was some of what we were saying last week that I was saying that they had to do. They beat the crap out of each other, and the Death Riders came into pounds, right? Which I like. It was the Bucks doing it like you said, but they cost Swerve the title match at Dynasty. They were in Anarchy in the Arena, so to me they're in this as much as the Death Riders. And I think adding them in gives more odds for Hangman and the boys to face. And for me also, I was kind of thinking about this again. One, I think the beatdown was vicious, which I think is what we want, right? That was good. I like that they beat the crap out of Swerve.
And it's people who are like the heart of AEW, which is what the Death Riders started out doing.
Right. So I thought this was definitely a big move in the right direction. And for me, we've been telling this story now where Swerve thinks Hangman and the Bucks are in cahoots. And this sows further doubt as to whether the Bucks are in cahoots with Hangman because they came in, beat the crap out of him again. And conveniently, Hangman's nowhere to be found. We saw last week that Ospreay and Hangman had each other's backs, right? Like Ospreay gets beat up by Crew.
Yeah.
And Hangman's there in the blink of an eye.
Right.
But then Swerve's getting pulverized by the Bucks, and Hangman's nowhere to be found,
True.
right? So I think this actually does a really good job of furthering that part of the story where you have the two bitter rivals who can't trust each other for a second, and this does nothing to help that.
Yeah.
Right? The Bucks continue to, quote-unquote, help Hangman and give him what he supposedly wants, and Hangman so far has done nothing to prove otherwise, right? So I think their involvement serves a purpose here, and it's that beatdown I really want. And I also really like Ospreay taking the blow for him because it makes it feel important, and it kind of like adds that company guy aspect. Like he's willing to help Hangman. He's taking a bullet for Swerve so that he's not as worse for wear, and so I think. Also, something like that could also persuade Swerve to eventually join the cause full force with Ospreay and Hangman because, like, I think if Hangman were to take some bullet like that in the coming weeks, then that would kind of add to it. But I like what they did with the post-match here. I think this is the kind of stuff they need to be doing. And we'll see more of Death Riders later, which I think is also solid. But I thought really great match to start the show, and I think the post-match angle was worthwhile.
Yes.
Because typically Death Riders with their stuff, it's like, it's whatever, but I thought everything made sense, and I think it served a purpose.
Still annoyed by the EVPs supporting the group that wants to kill the company they started.
I agree. I think it's weird, but I also think because they're scumbags, it's like somewhat justifiable.
I guess.
But they also didn't do a good enough job of justifying it. But the fact of the matter is they are aligned.
Yes.
And I do like what they're doing with Hangman, where it's like, obviously we know they're not affiliated, but I like that they're kind of teasing that. Like, it almost makes you think, what if? And I also like it more because, like, we know that they're not. So it's whatever, but it builds tension because Swerve thinks they are. Mm-hmm. So I like what they're doing there. It's really good.
Its Death Riders are doing better lately.
I agree.
I'll say that
I think
much.
so. Then we get a quick Okada interview. He gets cut off by Callis before he can speak, who's basically saying the match should involve Fletcher or Takeshita instead of Okada and Omega. Okada like grabs Don's finger and twists it. Archer, Fletcher, and Takeshita come in to kind of intimidate him. Okada calls Callis a bitch and leaves.
Yeah, it's just Callis is the heel manager, always trying to get his guys mentioned in airtime and whatever, right? So
I would much rather Fletcher and Takeshita, oddly enough, but whatever.
Yep.
And Okada amused me. I like when he calls Callis a bitch. It's funny. Then we get Hurt Syndicate beating up Commander earlier in the night. He gets unmasked. Massacre Dorado is going to replace him in the Trios match.
It felt like one of those, is Commander actually injured? Or are they just saving this?
I also wonder if we ever wanted him in this match or if we just wanted to showcase another CMLL guy again.
Maybe.
Before Arena Mexico next week.
Yeah.
Grand Slam Mexico. Speaking of which, it's Mystico.
Oh, no. I'm saying here, Commander suffered a significant knee injury. Oh, that's June 8th. So was that? Yeah, that was before Dynamite, right?
It's Mystico, yeah.
So he showed up to Dynamite, wanted to do the match, and Doctor said no way.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's decent then. So, yeah, now Mystico's here. That's great.
Hooray.
But Blake Christian's here.
You were more excited to see Blake Christian.
I'm legitimately more excited to see Blake Christian than Mexico's supposed, or CMLL's top guy or
Not
whatever.
the Mystico or Christian got a ton here.
No, but I like what he did. Christian blocks Escalator, arm drag, drags Mystico down from the top. Suicide dive from Mystico. Christian does his spaceman poncho through the ropes, which looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just cool. Really crisp springboard 450 for 2 from Christian. Mystico wins an avalanche Spanish fly, which I don't know if I've ever seen anyone win with that in the history of man. I genuinely don't know. Hurt Syndicate arrive after the match. MJF says he's going to rip Mystico's mask off, and he's going to bring out the Ultra American thing next week, and the flag comes down. So it's like his American champion gimmick from last year. So that's kind of neat. That's funny because he did do that in Arena Mexico last year.
Interesting timing with what's going on in the States right now.
I agree. I guess it gets him heat.
You guess what?
I guess it would get him heat.
Yeah.
And I think he defended against Templario last year, who's not that great.
Didn't love him.
Yeah. He gets in the ring, begins to speak. Mystico takes the mic, laughs at him. He will see MJF in his house next week. Stuff in Spanish. MJF gets angry when MVP translates in his ear. He calls him Sloppy Sin Cara, which is kind of funny.
Yes.
Mystico gets beat down until Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Dorada make the save.
I put bit of an awkward save. I don't remember why.
I also don't.
But I did enjoy there were audible Speedball chants, which makes me happy.
I was saying to you, I really hope either Mystico was a lot more interesting in his prime or his prime was in a more primitive age for wrestling, because he's not horrible, but I really don't get what makes him the big top
I have no
star
interest
from
in him and MJF.
I have no interest in him whatsoever. He feels a lot more akin to the basic luchadors we don't tend to care for, like Atlantis or Templario, and less like the interesting ones like Hechicero or Dorada or Vikingo, right? Yeah. So yeah, he did not impress for me. Christian was cool in what he got to do. He continues to entertain. I just really enjoy how innovative he is, and like he's super interesting. I saw on Collision him and Lee Johnson approach Ricochet both joining him, which I thought would have been kind of cool, but Ricochet turned them down. I do kind of hope it's Crew. I think that just feels like a fit. But I really wish we'd seen more. I still wish he was in the 4-way last week, but I think Blake Christian's really cool, and again, way more interesting to me than Mystico.
I thought this match was fine. Nothing special. It wasn't long enough to be much. It was more to get to the stuff after.
It was to showcase Mystico, but I don't think it was really.
It wasn't really
impressive.
No, I agree.
Then we get Speedball, Kevin Knight, Massacre Dorado against the Hurt Syndicate. MJF's in like a tank top MVP style.
MVP style.
But it's got MJF on the back, so that was kind of funny. Dorado gets beat down for a while. Eventual hot tag tonight for a flurry. Jet Speed face off with the tag champs, and they get the better of the exchange to Lashes and Shell TB. Lash with the huge spinebuster to Speedball. MJF with the Made in Japan, aka the Penta Driver, to Speedball for 2. MJF takes a thrust kick from Speedball and a springboard dropkick from Dorada. Then Dorada gets flattened by a spear from Lashley. Dorada hits a shooting star to the floor to a standing MJF. We get a Kane cheap shot from MVP on Speedball. Then MJF hits that hammerlock cradle DDT he does for the win, which I've also never ever seen him win.
Right, got a pin with it.
But cheap shot, so it's fine. Babyfaces get beat down some more. Dorada gets unmasked. MJF gets tapped out in La Mystica, which is basically like Mystico doing a tilt-a-whirl into the Salt of the Earth.
Yep.
So that was lame.
That's where their feud comes from.
Again, probably, honestly. You could say that, and then it'd be basically the same as, like, didn't once Sid and Kevin Nash had a powerbomb match?
Probably.
Just like a body slam challenge, except powerbombs. And then the way Nash won, it's genius, ready? Because this is 2000 WCW, so you know it's smart. The ref goes down, and he takes out Sid with something or whatever, and then he just gets the ref up and tells him, hey, I powerbombed, and the ref's like, okay, match is win.
You wouldn't
win.
lie.
It's so funny. Yeah, right? Kevin Nash would never lie. So, I felt like it underdelivered a bit, because I thought the LFI match last week was much better.
Yeah, I thought this was fine. There was some awkwardness with Lashley and Knight at one point as well. There was. But it wasn't anything amazing. But definitely, like you said before, right, more heelish from Hurt Syndicate than they have been lately.
Yeah, between this, the beatdown.
Cheatings and beatdowns and whatnot, yeah.
And so I like that, because they're supposed to be heels at the end of the day. And they're supposed to be dominant.
And if they're aligned with MJF, then for sure.
That also helps, yeah. Babyface had good fire, though, and Dorada is much more entertaining than Mystico, I thought, even though little he did here. Like, I just think he's faster, quicker, and he does, like, some cooler things.
And he feels fresher. We've seen Mystico many times.
I think so.
In many
and
iterations.
Maybe we can just chalk that up to time as well.
Could be.
But at the same time, that's just what it is in the present day. I think Dorada's much more interesting. I feel like them bringing up Mystico is kind of like whenever they bring out Tanahashi from New Japan, I'm supposed to be like, yeah. And I'm just like,
At least Mystico can walk, use his legs.
Yeah.
His legs are functional.
When Tanahashi showed up at Double or Nothing, that was rough. Poor Fletcher taking that sling blade, my God. It was interesting to see MJF with the Syndicate in ring for the first time. Not much to do, though. I wish Jet Speed could have gotten the win because I wanted them to get a title match. They still could, but
they could.
Felt like a missed opportunity here.
I don't know where else it's going if not.
Yeah, or it's just the temporary thing to get to Mystico, which is lame.
Weird.
Then we hear from Hangman Page, but he gets jumped by the Death Riders in the tunnel. They cuff his hands behind his back and tape his mouth shut, and they beat him down the stage, drag him to the ring. Mox gets a mic and says he's terribly sorry about all this, but wants to make sure they can have a real conversation, because Hangman seems to always be worried about everyone but himself, and he needs to be focused. He says this is do or die for Hangman, and he's been watching him for a long time, and he's complicated. He doesn't understand or like him. He says he has 4 weeks to find whatever he's been searching for and become the man everyone wants him to become. And if he's not prepared to do that, he can get out. Hangman headbutts Mox and gets beat down hard. They put a chair on his neck. Mox stops Claudio from doing it for some reason. Yeah. I guess he wants him to get to the match.
I guess, because they had time to do it.
Well, because he seems to want Hangman to be his best, so I guess he can still beat him, which
is a little inconsistent with the chicken
heels, because then they duck out when the ops come.
Right.
I really don't like chicken heel or Death Riders.
And the ops waited a long time to come down.
Yeah, like they're weeding their way through the back or something.
But this is what Death Rider needed to be doing earlier. This kind of feels like WWE in the sense that with the Death Rider story, I feel like we got a beginning and an end, but like no middle really.
I agree. The middle was a little...
WWE tends to do that where they just leave out a whole chunk of something. But they're on a better path than they were a few weeks ago. So
I agree. Like, I think they're stepping up their game like we said they should.
It will still be like not as good as it could have been because the middle part was so lacking, but maybe they're saving it. A little easier
to forget if we're like at least we're getting the build up there, right? I was all I like you am glad the Death Riders are finally doing stuff this show and ramping up the tension. Pretty hefty beats, and I think like you could argue the tape in the mouth and the cuffs is a little cheesy and over the top, but like this is the group that formed by suffocating a dude with a plastic bag. I was just gonna say
we've done bags.
I think we're fine with this.
Yep.
Or like they tried to like pour chemicals down Orange Cassidy's. Like, let's not act like this is the first weird thing they've done. All right. Didn't they do the same thing to Rock and Roll Express? I feel like I don't know. I thought his promo was solid, and I like that he's either trying to get Hangman to be better so that he can like beat top Hangman, or I'd like to think he's trying to incite Hangman to like man up and like he's gonna try to insult him and get him to be a man, but it's like gonna make him over emotional and he'll make a mistake and then Mox can take him out kind of deal, right? So it's either like he is trying to make him better, like a redeemer type thing, or he's just trying to like psych him out.
Yeah.
Either or, it works. I think we need more of this though. I don't like chicken heel death riders. I would like if they should have brawled with the ops, and then it's like you have a couple other people come out, and then it's like, okay, the numbers aren't in our favor
because that's just being smart, not scared.
That's being smart, right? But I'd argue with Shafir there technically, I'd argue they're still up one man, but I guess not. So this was good though. Chicken heel stuff aside, it was more vicious death riders, and so I think this was a good start. Like I think this week was definitely an improvement on their end.
Yeah, I agree.
I think last week, or no, it was last week, but the week before, last couple weeks, we'll say we've done really good on building the babyface side of things with those three. I think this week we've done much better building the heel side, and so we're just kind of like, I think we're starting to form it together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's good. I'm a little worried about what we'll build next week because I'm not like Grand Slam Mexico is probably going to be like Grand Slam Australia where it's like
holding pattern
matches and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm optimistic as to where we're headed, I think. Then we get a women's tag. It's Bane and Ford against TJ. They're back. That's great. Thigh Doom, German suplex, and a nasty pump knee from Mello to Ford.
That looked good.
That was pretty vicious. Yep. Bane broke the pin. Pump kick trifecta in the corner to Bane from Mello. Mello hits Bane with a cannonball from the apron. Bane holds Jay. Mello hits like a Samoan drop fallaway slam, like double thingy.
Yeah, both of them.
Jay has Bane her crappy sleeper hold, and Mello hits the tie KO to 4 for the win, which is solid. It's better than Moné's finisher because it's in the Gory Mom position, but then she swings her out into a knee, like a GTS kind of thing, so it's kind of cool.
I feel like she's not going to execute it well all the time.
I do think so. Like, it looked okay here. I think it's easier to execute than Moné's, though.
And I made a note there was some dodgy combo move to Anna Jay. I didn't write down specifically what it was.
I didn't either.
Something looked weak.
This is fine. Mello looks solid and better than Jay typically
I thought she showed good fire.
I think this partnership is an anchor for Bane, though.
Yeah.
Like, she's taking losses in tag matches now.
I know. And she was being presented so strongly to start. I thought this match felt a bit long, but Mello getting the win in her return is what you kind of expect, right? So, yeah. I don't know, it was fine, and she looked good.
Then we get an Okada Omega package. It recaps their feud in New Japan, which the match highlights from their numerous big matches in New Japan. That was basically it, and it was just like underscoring the importance.
It was well done.
It was really well done.
Even for me, when I watched a lot of peak stuff from them, but it's still nice to be reminded. I think
it was great for those who forget, like you, or those who don't know their extensive history, and really helpful if AEW's been pulling in viewers lately.
Not everybody
with the TKO fatigue.
Not everybody's a big New Japan follower. They know Okada's a big deal from there, but they might not know all the specifics. So I thought this was a really slick package and was useful for a lot of people.
Yeah, very nice. Really lengthy, but like appropriately so, I think. Yep. I think it did a really good job underscoring the feud. And then so we go to their contract signing. Shivani's in the ring we have a table with 3 belts. One's covered because we have the international title and the Continental title. They will be merged into the unified title.
Good decision.
Yes. Omega and Okada signed the contract. They shake hands. Callis comes out.
I was like, wow, this is really straightforward and respectful, right? I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I guess it was all a ploy. Callis comes out and says it should be between his guys. Omega says he's beating them, and Callis isn't going to ruin this match. Okada hits Omega with the Continental title in the back of the head. Okada gets a baton from Callis, and they beat him down.
Yeah,
hit him right in the
one of those retractable, yes.
Yeah, who else had that? I swear Santana had that in one of the Blood and Guts matches.
The Mad Ball?
No, not the Mad Ball. The Mad Ball. That's such a good name. I love that. Omega gets beat down further. He gets put on a stretcher. Elbow drop from Okada when he's on the stretcher board. Then he's on the stretcher at ringside. And another elbow drop from Okada.
Right to the diverticulitis.
Right to the diverticulitis. Blood capsule. He's spitting up blood. It looked pretty good, though.
It did, yeah.
And Okada and Callis run off and get in the car. I'd like to start by saying I think the unified title is beautiful. I think it looks really nice.
It does.
It is a very nice title, and I think it definitely stands out design-wise. Has a really clean look to it, but I think unifying the titles is absolutely the right call. But I think the name for the title is stupid. I think the name is a horrible choice. It makes it sound like the world title when it's not. I think for new fans, it's really confusing. Because when you...
I think we'll just get used to it, and it won't matter pretty quickly.
Probably, but I think it's still a bad name, because if you're coming in... Wouldn't you be confused if there's a world title and a unified title? You know what I mean? if they want to make a new title, I think they should have picked something else. Intercontinental would have been perfect, but I get why they wouldn't want to do that because I think WWE has it. I think WWE trademarked it, or at least tried to. I would have gone with something else, or like what I would have done is I would have had the winner keep their belt, and that's the one that lives on.
Yeah.
So then you have more lineage, because I think starting a new belt again is just like we're restarting the lineage for what, right? When the company is not that long. Like WWE's done that a bunch, but they've also been around a lot longer.
They realize they have too many belts.
I like that, and
So
I think it's still. But I would I'd keep Omega's belt because that's a beautiful belt. But like, cause like when RVD was Intercontinental Champion in 2002, he unified that with the European Hardcore titles in different matches, but kept the IC belt, right? I would then have Omega keep his belt because it's nice. I'm sad to see that one go. It's gone too soon. But the Continental title is less pretty and its creation was unnecessary. And reports say the C2 is sticking around, so we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the segment was solid. Callis was solid. The beatdown was pretty gnarly, so I thought that was good.
I liked the really violent beatdown while Okada's wearing like a beautiful suit.
Yeah,
I think that's a really cool. And like I said, it started out thinking, oh man, this is like they're just being respectful.
I did like the 180.
And then Callis is just the catalyst for chaos, right?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the lines, but I think they're both such Omega haters that I think it works. As long as it's temporary. I don't think Okada needs to be in the Callis family because I think that kind of demeans the other two.
Yeah.
And also he's
the enemy
elite,
of your enemy
right?
is your friend deal.
I think so, right? I don't think he needs to be in the Callis family.
And commentary specifically, they didn't know what the deal with Okada and Callis was, so I don't think we were supposed to either.
And if Callis sticks around for the feud at least, it might help the segment side of things for Okada's promos and whatnot, which might be the purpose as well, right? And so the beatdown was really solid. It looked sick. And I thought the use of the blood capsule was smart.
Yeah, and I think Callis would just be like his history with Omega, whoever has a chance to take out Omega and make sure he's not the first champion
on such a big stage,
he'll just sort of help out.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the end of it, right? We watched Bowens and Fletcher, but
I didn't
really pay
upstairs.
attention. All right. It's hard to rate it because it was off half a show, but I guess I'll try.
It still operates like Dynamite though, basically.
Amazing opener, right? So good with that.
Great opener and angle, I think.
That was really the only match that was really good though. When you look back, right? There wasn't really
it was a bit
much
of a one-match
wrestling.
show.
And not a lot of wrestling on the show, to be honest. Yeah. I guess Mystico Christian was quick. Hurt Syndicate match was whatever. And the women's tag was whatever.
I think we need a couple more good matches, but I'll say at the very least, I do think it's a B-. But at the very least, the opener was amazing, and I think the Death Rider stuff, like the main event angle was actually delivering this week.
It's better, for sure.
So I thought that definitely helped out.
Yep. All right, so we'll shift gears, do a little bit of trivia now as we take a break from the analysis. We call it Off the Top of His Head. So in honor of a couple really good four-way matches on Raw this week, I sort of drilled down into four-way matches, and I had to modify because when I first just asked for like list and describe 15 really good fatal four-way matches in WWE, a lot of them were like from Raw and SmackDown, so it's hard for you to...
Yeah.
Whereas it's from pay-per-views and stuff, you have a shot. So then I narrowed it down to just pay-per-views and PLEs, okay? So we're looking at fatal four-ways. Hopefully AI is right, but we'll see. Number 15, they are saying was from Armageddon 2004. And I can give you another hint if you want, like what it was for.
JBL.
Yes. What was it for? What title?
WWE title.
Correct. So JBL is correct.
Taker.
Correct.
Eddie.
Correct. Why? Why do you know these things?
Cena.
No.
Benoit.
No. Commentator now.
Booker.
Correct. And it said why it's great. A controversial but entertaining match. Or sorry, finish. Focused on JBL surviving by any means, etc., etc. Number 14, Night of Champions 2013 for the U.S. title.
Ambrose?
No.
Really? Is it before his time then?
Maybe.
Kofi?
No.
Sheamus?
Yes.
Cesaro?
Yes.
Two
people who have been sort of kicked out of WWE.
Del Rio?
Yes.
And... who else?
Former champion.
Kicked out?
Yeah. Was in AEW for a bit.
Oh.
Swagger.
Swagger. Oh yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm just
Night of
curious
Champions 2013.
because Ambrose was champion for a long ass time. I feel like he would have been champion this time because it was September, so I swear he was champion this time. Yeah, Ambrose beat Ziggler for the U.S. title. And I don't see any of these guys on. You sure it's 2013?
That's what it says.
No, I knew Ambrose was champion around then because Ambrose had like a year-long run with that belt. And I thought Kofi, because he beat Kofi for it at Extreme Rules.
You are correct.
The only reason I picked Sheamus is because that was the guy that beat Ambrose, but that was also in 2014.
You should be rating AI, I guess. 13, WrestleMania 33, Raw Women's Championship.
Bailey, Sasha, Nia, Charlotte.
Bailey, Sasha's correct, at least according to this.
I'm pretty sure Nia's in that.
They're saying Bliss, Naomi.
No.
Definitely not.
Naomi was 100% not in that because she was in the SmackDown one, and I'm pretty sure Bliss lost the title to her. So I'll check that right now. I'm almost positive, and I will even go as far to say that it was Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte, Nia in elimination because I'm almost positive of that.
I believe you.
Let's see. Yep, that was the elimination match, and then I believe it was a six-pack challenge.
Jack knows more than AI.
For the SmackDown one, yeah. Naomi beat Alexa Bliss. So in the other match, Bliss, Lynch, Carmella, Mickie James, Natalya. So
it's smashed two together.
Yeah.
Number 12. Is this right? Armageddon 2001 Tag Team Turmoil?
Tag Team Turmoil is not a four-way because that's like
It says technically a four-way start.
Gauntlet rules. Okay, then it's not tag team. Then it's not Turmoil either.
Answer the question.
Either not one. It's one of not one of the
Who was in it?
Dudley's.
Yes.
APA.
Yes.
Really? Damn.
According to them.
Okay. Hardy's?
Yes. And who's in every Hardy's match?
Edge and Christian.
Yes.
Really? Okay. That does sound right, but I don't trust them anymore.
You shouldn't. Number 11.
Sorry, you can go. I'm just looking.
No Mercy 2017. Number
Results.
1 contenders match.
Where the... What? Oh, Armageddon 2001's a movie? What the nuts? That is not what I was looking for. Sorry. There we go. Can we... Okay, you know what? It's not worth it. Repeat, sir.
No Mercy 2017 number 1 contenders match.
Let me see if I can guess what AI is messing up. If it's messed up. Is it Samoa Joe?
Yes.
Balor?
No.
Bray?
No.
Rollins?
No.
Okay.
Styles, Samoa Joe, Braun, Roman Reigns.
No.
This is not doing well at all.
Braun lost to Lesnar, and Roman beat Cena. I thought it might be confusing because I know Extreme Rules 2017, they had a 5-way.
Yeah.
With Joe, Bray, Rollins, Balor, someone else.
Yeah.
And that got Joe that match at Great Balls of Fire, you know, the greatest event name of all time.
Of course.
I thought they might have been confusing with that, but they just messed it up a different way, I guess.
Backlash 2007 WWE Championship?
Cena, Michaels, Edge Orton.
No.
That is definitely what it is.
They're saying Edge, Jericho, Batista, Orton.
No, I'm so 100% sure.
All right, I believe you.
The finish was like, it was some finisher thing where I think he hit an AA to Orton. I think Orton got speared, Ed took an AA, and then he gets super kicked onto a pin, and then he wins. Like, that's an infamous 4-way.
Payback 2015 WWE title.
Orton, Ambrose, Rollins, Roman.
Orton, Ambrose, Rollins, Roman. They got one right.
That is right.
Armageddon 2008 WWE Championship.
Dude. Orton.
No.
Triple H.
Yes.
Edge.
Yes.
Jeffrey Hardy.
Yes, and someone you should not guess, probably.
Vladimir Kozlov.
Correct. Nice. Number 6, way to go. I specifically said pay-per-views. It's saying Raw, February 2020, number 1 contenders match for the women. So you
February 2020.
pick big people of 2020.
Asuka.
No.
Becky.
Yes.
No. Yeah? Wait. That number 1 contender for the Raw Women's title?
It just says number 1 contender.
That can't possibly be true because she would have been champion by then.
They're saying it's all 4 horsewomen.
That is definitely not right.
Number 5, moving on. This is going well. Unforgiven 2000 WWE Championship.
Okay, I'll just take a swing at it.
Because it didn't happen?
I honestly don't even know because it's just the time period I'm not as familiar with. I'm just taking a swing. Okay, it has to be Triple H.
No.
Right? And The Rock.
Yes.
Taker.
Yes.
Kane.
Yes.
And Big Show.
No.
Mankind.
Someone who has been scrubbed from WWE.
Benoit.
Correct.
I'm curious if that is right because
I don't think it is.
I really don't think so.
I don't know
anymore.
why, but I don't think Undertaker and Kane were in a 4-way.
That is, I feel like that's kind of true. Wouldn't it be funny if this was right? It was right.
It was right? Wow. All right. Extreme Rules 2016 Intercontinental title.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It happened?
Miz.
Yep.
Cesaro.
Yep.
Zayn Owens.
Correct.
Yeah. I remember that, I remember people thinking it's really good. I haven't watched it in forever, but I know, that got good reviews.
Battleground 2014.
Cena.
Yep.
Kane.
Yep.
Roman.
Yep.
Orton.
Correct. Okay.
The only reason I know that is because I've been doing those Cultaholic time quizzes, and so I've had one of them was everyone in, I think it was in Orton, because Orton was in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was everyone in an Orton title match.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to list that off. So it's just been in the brain coincidentally.
Number 2, NXT TakeOver Rival 2015.
Is this the Four Horsewomen one?
It is the Four Horsewomen.
That one's real. Because that one's infamous.
Last one, they're saying number 1, the greatest. SummerSlam 2017. Did it exist?
Brock, Joe, Braun, Roman.
Yes, it did exist.
That one's very infamous. That was the one where remember Strowman slammed Lesnar through 2 announce tables and then dumped the 3rd one on him? Because back then they would have 3.
Yes.
And that one was super car crash. That one is critically acclaimed, I will say that.
Well done. I guess AI sort of picked up its game in the second half of that, but faltered in the first half. All right, back to wrestling. Talking about some Raw, talking about some NXT a little bit more quickly than we do for Dynamite. We call it Highspots and Restholds. Starting with Monday Night Raw, I don't know how much you saw. I know you saw a couple things from NXT when we get there. Raw starts out with Cena in the ring, right? He's talking about R-Truth returning. He calls the fans spineless keyboard warriors, ignorant armchair activists who have no real power to change anything. Calls Truth a gimmick that they will spit out a year from now, which might be true, to be fair. He says he only has 19 dates left, so they better send him some real competition. CM Punk comes out, acknowledges, and I think it's funny because I think they're trying to get it out of the way that basically isn't this weird? You're now trying to tear the company apart and I'm representing the establishment, right?
That is true.
But then he's like, but no, I'm not here for billionaires. I'm here for the fans.
Right, yeah.
So it's I'm going to cover all my bases, right? I'm going to pander to the fans.
Of course.
But I'm also representing the institution of WWE, basically. He's not there to kiss the final boss's ass like Cena. The people are his boss. Oh, my God. You owe the even though, he multiple times has been I'm here for the money, right? But now he's I'm here, I'm the voice.
It is what he wants it to be when he wants it to be it.
The title has corrupted Cena like it corrupted Punk years ago. Punk suggests they have a match for later tonight. Cena says, let's do it, but at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia.
Which is funny because there's that one thing where
Punk says you're on.
Punk told Miz to suck a blood money covered dick or something like that. So it's implied he doesn't like Saudi. So that's why I kind of
he refused to go there and do anything.
But now he's
for the same reasons I refuse to watch.
Now he's denying, or he's not.
So that's what
now lately he's been denying, or he apparently the sentiment backstage was that he hasn't said anything negative about them in a while, or he hasn't said anything against going against it. So either, I guess he's okay with it now. Either
he's a giant hypocrite by going, or this story will lead to a point where he isn't going, which I think is possible. Even though later in the show they show a graphic of it.
I could see that. I do think at least it's funny that Cena's making him do that, though.
This is presented as Cena literally knowing that Punk has said these things and refused to go, and is if you want your title shot, you're going to do it in Saudi.
I do like that.
So maybe that's to make Punk not look so hypocritical because he's going to go, but it's because he's saving WWE from John Cena. So he had to sort of...
I feel like that's...
But I think there's a chance he doesn't end up going. And this is we wanted to get the internet wrestling community all fired up and hating on CM Punk because he's sold out and he's going to go to Saudi Arabia. And then, nope, he's not. Haha. We were one step ahead of you again.
I feel like they're just going to go with it.
But anyways, we'll see. Yeah, so the interaction was fine. They're both good on the mic, right? So whatever. AJ Styles beat Chad Gable in 8 minutes with the Styles Clash. Man, Gable's been he was taped up here in a couple areas. He's been
He only wrestled one match.
prolific. That's right. True.
I don't know why he's complaining.
The Creeds get involved a bunch. Styles wins anyways. Fine 8-minute TV match. Nothing special. Again, I think Styles has lost a step. I don't hear anyone else saying it. It's the combination of
I haven't seen anyone notice it.
Age and super jacked. I just find like he's not the same.
And his style used to be so... You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's hard to sustain.
His athleticism was undeniable, and now it's deniable.
I feel like it's hard for him to sustain.
His drop kick does not look as devastating even.
No.
Anyways, again, really good 4-way first round of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Ripley basically had the match won at one point with a riptide, but Raquel, I think, pulled her off or saved. So, anyways, cost Ripley the match. Kairi Sane hits her elbow onto a couple people. Roxanne ends up getting back in the ring. It's like a jackknife pin or whatever to Kairi Sane. Roxanne advances to the next round. 13 minutes. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Pace was fast. Potential for a couple people to win, right, adds to the drama because I wasn't sure who was winning this, other than I knew it wasn't going to be Kairi Sane. Because, again, is Kairi Sane good? I don't think she is. I don't think she is. I think it's one of those, she's in that situation with Taya and a couple others where, like,
I think
is she
it was
good?
Dakota for you recently as well.
A little bit of that, too. Nikki Bella's back. I don't care. She's talking to Natty.
Apparently, Brie Bella's going to come back, too. I think it's her against the Judgment Day girls.
She's talking to Natty and Maxine. And then, man, this really irritated me, almost to the point of laughter. She then briefly interacts with Io, and Io is like, you paved the way for me. Nikki Bella didn't pave anything for Io Sky.
No.
She can't lace Io Sky's boots. Really annoyed me. Anyways, Becky Lynch.
Just because, like, she wrestled so much longer before, like, it's, you know what I mean? It's so...
like, without Nikki Bella, we wouldn't have Io Sky. Come on now.
No.
Io Sky's undeniable. Becky Lynch is in the ring to speak. She brags about her accomplishments, starts to rip on Lyra Valkyria. Lyra comes down the ramp, but doesn't really get involved because Bayley runs in, attacks Lynch from behind. Lynch narrowly escapes a rose plant and then sort of scurries away. So Lynch is doing like super over-the-top heel. It's fine. Nice to see Bayley back, but like a Bayley Lynch program does not exactly feel fresh, you know?
I feel like we haven't done that solo, but I don't know.
But it's just they've been in the horsewomen.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every combination of the horsewomen has been done. Could lead to good matches though, for sure. R-Truth gets his chance to speak since returning at Money in the Bank. He's back because of the fans. The fans love R-Truth. R-Truth loves R-Truth like the fans do. But Truth is too nice, and Ron Killings is not. Pulls out scissors, cuts off his hair. Crowd is amazed by this. The Truth has set him free. He is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So it's this weird, like, you're not R-Truth anymore, but you keep, like, using truth as much as possible. So
I guess it's, like, supposed to be, like, on the nose kind of thing.
I guess. Fine. But, like, what's the ceiling for 53-year-old R-Truth? And how long until people stop caring about him? I
don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes.
I
think there's some mileage in the anti-hero Truth thing because he's been such a comedy thing for so long.
True.
And something that I think that's part of his new deal is that it's this now.
Mm-hmm.
And that he could keep his name after he goes, right? That's why he's using Ron
I think,
Killings.
yeah, he's back to trying to build up.
I think it's interesting because
he knows they're going to release him eventually.
Yeah.
But it was all just a work.
No. I do think it's cool that people got him back. And I think it was partially not just that the
Triple
fans...
H was 10 steps ahead, bud. You don't even know.
Right, because him and The Rock are always ahead, no matter what. Even when they're behind, it's just because they're lapping you.
That's correct.
But apparently, because like people, like wrestlers and whatever, were also upset about it, right? So I think that's honestly really cool.
Yep.
But I think it's interesting because like he's clearly a babyface because the fans love him and that's why he's back.
Yeah.
But like he was kind of heelish here because I did see it.
He was.
But then he's attacking Cena.
Yes.
So it's like I think it's an anti-hero thing, not like Austin, but like in that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of intrigued.
I'm not so far, but we'll see.
But like it's just because like it's just. Then again, I was also interested in Cena when he turned heel. So.
And then, again, they're big on moments. So
I thought his first promo was great.
The moment of R-Truth coming back, that was a good moment. But now we'll see.
I forget who pointed out. I think it was Wrestling with Regret again, Where like the Cena heel runs failed because it's just Cena doing every tired heel trope we've ever seen. It's just Cena doing a basic heel act. There's no bite to his bark. There's no like nothing that makes it stand out. Because I think when he was like going into the fans for the toxic relationship and how you treat the fans, like or the fans treated him, sorry. I do think it was interesting. I think there was something to it. But now it's just like, oh, I want to ruin wrestling. It's like it's kind of like when the Death Rider started getting generic.
But he doesn't do anything to back that up. He's just
like
showing up every week.
It's kind of like when Death Rider started to get generic, right? Oh, I think this is worse because at least Death Riders were still kind of doing things and being built. Like at least I will always say like the low point Death Riders is better than current Cena, and that's also partially our AEW bias, but it is what it is. But yeah, like the Cena run is just like. I don't know what he's doing anymore.
I don't either. I think he should just keep showing up at every Raw and SmackDown and getting his dates down and just never wrestling and then disappearing.
Yeah.
Getting them down as fast as possible and then being gone.
It sucks because I was so excited about the Cena heel run.
Moments, not stories.
Yep.
That's all they do.
And I thought it was a really novel idea for his final run, but final run involves more than a moment. Yeah, so
it's not good.
How dare I?
Judgment Day are backstage. Basically, Finn Balor is kind of loving the chaos of Roxanne because she won the 4-way, right? And Liv didn't win.
She's facing Cargill, though, next, though. So Cargill went on SmackDown, so...
Yeah. And it's sort of like Balor's turned the tables because they were messing with him and excluding him from stuff. So now he's kind of...
I do like that.
Stepping back and enjoying the group kind of imploding. King of the Ring... First round for men, also a really good 4-way. Zayn, Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker.
It's a good mix.
I thought it was an excellent TV match. Zayn winning again. I didn't know who was going to win, so that adds to sort of the drama, which is always good.
And you were talking about, was it Negron who said Zayn's supposed to win? Like Smart Wrestling Fan, was it?
I think it was them, possibly. Yeah.
Usually he knows things.
He does
right?
know things.
So he faces Gunther, then Rollins cashes in, which I really like that idea.
Yeah,
because I think it would tie around to Rollins' first. Like kind of feud,
and Sammy gets that moment and then loses it. So it's like you got it, but you didn't really get it.
Because you could do a world title feud between Rollins and Zayn, which would be really cool. But you could also have Cross nipping at Zayn because he's like he's been nipping at him saying you'll never be a champion or whatever. And it's like you did become a champion, but because you weren't yada yada yada.
And he has a moment with him here after this
right?
match.
So like I think there's a lot of things you could do from that. And you could also bring it back to like Zayn and Gunther, and Zayn could be kind of the Gunther killer if you really want, which like I think it's okay. It's better than Jay being him twice, which I was afraid
Gunther
of.
Killer. Let's go.
I would prefer that, but Jey Uso's in the tournament, so Dream's dead.
Penta takes out Dom with a destroyer. Braun makes the save. Braun spears Penta on the floor. Knight shows up because there's some sort of issue there with Braun. I think stemming from SmackDown, maybe.
Rollins and his group beat up Knight and some of the other people before Money in the Bank, and then Rollins obviously screwed Knight out of Money in the Bank to win. So
Knight hits a BFT.
I did hear that was going to be the
to Braun on the floor. In the ring, we get an exploder haluva kick to Dom. Sami Zayn wins. Really enjoyable match. Mixture of styles and like experience levels, right? You got a couple youngsters in there.
I could see it happening like we have a feud with Knight and Rollins heading into SummerSlam. That's the match. Then Rollins could cash in on Zayn at SummerSlam after Zayn wins the tournament. Then you could either have Zayn quickly pivot to Cross or something, to blow off that.
Yeah.
And then Rollins could defend the title against Knight again. Yeah. Or you could do a 3-way with Knight, Rollins, and
I don't need Knight
Zayn. And then you could have Zayn one-on-one later. Like, I feel like then you could have a couple avenues here. Or you just do Zayn or Knight and Rollins non-title before he cashes in, and then Knight can screw off.
I'm kind of not interested in Knight at this point.
I'm not. I don't understand why people still think he should win Money in the Bank. Like, it's not 2023.
No.
In 2023, I get it, because I think he should have won when Damian
and
Priest
I didn't love him then, but he was over.
I think he should have won it then, because I don't care about Priest at all.
Yeah.
But then, like, even last year, I was like, no, it should be McIntyre, and it was, even though they totally wasted it. I still think McIntyre was the right choice to win, at least.
Yep, I do too.
I thought it was too late for people to hope for him then, and now it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Give up.
Really good stretches, several big moves. Pace was excellent. Like the women's match earlier, again, didn't know who the winner was, so that helps. Good start to the King and Queen of the Ring, I thought. So a bit later, as you mentioned, Karrion Kross, he runs into Sammy, and he's like, basically, I'm proud of you because you capitalized on the opportunity created by Knight showing up to take out Breaker, and that he's basically, you took my message to heart, and you showed the real Sammy, the guy who can manipulate things for his own advantage. Zayn disagrees, says that he's good enough to win a world championship. Cross should stay out of his business. Zayn said, or else I can handle Cross, and Cross thinks that's a pretty funny idea. So I'm wondering if this is actually going to lead to a match.
Probably not soon.
For Karrion Kross.
Because he's in the tournament, and
yeah,
he'll probably win if you Gunther, so maybe Kross will have a match in a couple months.
But it does feel like there's a heelness bubbling under the surface for Sammy.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious, like, where he's going to go.
Nikki Bella in the ring. I can't be bothered to even recap any of it. Liv shows up, says she has respect, a title, and a man, implying that Bella has none of those things. Nikki suggests...
I think she is a man.
That Dom and Perez have something going on. Liv says she's a champion while Nikki is a reality show diva. Hits Nikki with an oblivion. I really don't. Anything Nikki Bella does, I'm automatically out on. I never cared about her, and I certainly don't in 2025. Gunther defeated Jey Uso in the main event. 22 minutes, got a lot of time. Gunther wins back the heavyweight title. I was surprised by this.
I was also surprised. I thought Jey was going to drop it to Rollins.
It was good. Jey passed out to the sleeper. Good a match as Jey is probably capable of. Gunther looking physically dominant for stretches. I think it was completely clean. I don't remember any shenanigans.
I heard it was, yeah.
I just, again, feel like they realized Jay's not a main eventer. His popularity has nothing to do with having a title, so why not put it on a legit person like Gunther?
And Goldberg plans
for aside. 80% of his time or whatever
of his run, yeah, so might as well keep that stat up.
So I thought 3 really good matches on this show, which for Raw is saying something. NXT, I told you this show, I wish you had watched it with me because I found it super notable for many reasons. And I for some reason, this was an episode where I really noticed how hard Vic Joseph has to work because some of the people surrounding him are not very good at what they do, and he needs to lift heavy for them. So first thing we see is Jackson Troy attacking Jasper. Wow. Jasper Troy attacking Obafemi in the parking lot, that ever dangerous parking lot. Choke slams him through a windshield. That actually looked pretty good, to be fair. Legacy and Paige, Sean Legacy, really good 12-minute match. I love Sean Legacy. The live crowd loves him. Paige is a great veteran heel for someone like Legacy to play off of. He should be contending for the North American Championship more, I think, in the future. He misses a 450. Paige hits Twisted Grin for the win. Really good TV opener. JC James talking to Ava backstage. Lainey Reen walks in, slaps her, kind of. It's like a slap to the neck, mostly.
That gets her a title shot.
Talks trash and slaps her again. So the reason was, just before this, JC Jane had taken a veiled shot at Henley. Something like she wants to develop her rapport with Ava because Henley was developing a rapport with Ava, and then Henley lost the title. So, and it was one of those. So after Reed slaps Jane twice, Henley's like, oh, now you have to face her, kind of like pushing the issue a little bit, right? So Ava makes the match. And at this point in the show, I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, we don't know anything about this woman, Lainey Reed, and she's getting a title shot. So many new people are showing up from so many different directions, right? That it may be just too much for me personally.
I should have put in news, but we had Mark Henry's son, Titus O'Neil's son, and Scott Steiner's son in NIL.
Awesome.
So you're going to have you could do Legacy.
Yeah. We do get a vignette for Lainey Reed later where she talks about her athletic credentials. I didn't mind it because she's kind of like, I've never waited for anything to excel in those areas. So she doubled down on Jane being the most beatable champion ever. And it's basically like this, I don't wait for opportunities. This is my best opportunity because this champion sucks. So I'm taking my shot.
Logic. I don't disagree.
And then something about putting aside her Southern hospitality to seize some opportunities. And I thought this helped a ton. I already know more about her than Jasper Troy, and they're both just getting title shots for no reasons, right? She kind of seems like a tweener. And then the bell rings, but we'll get there. Saw Ruka and Zarya, you saw this, doing grown-up things
TikTok
on social media. So it was like they're
filming.
They're really close together.
And then they're filming it, and then they're like, but then switching the camera, show their reactions, but it's so stupid.
But it starts out with them going, "Let's go 1, 2, 3, and see if we say the same word."
Oh, because they're probably doing a TikTok challenge. I guess they.
I hate the world at this point.
That's also fair.
They're busy being adults. This will be adults do, I guess. And yeah, so then they end up filming Lash, Ren, and Kalani Jordan having words, right? And it's going to lead to a Lash Ren match with Kalani on commentary later. The culling segment, you watch this. I texted you while you were at work, like, why is it I really like the culling this week? It's a real direction change. And
I thought you were sarcastic.
I thought it was well handled, right? So it's Izzy, what's the other guy's name?
Nico Vance.
Nico and Spears sitting there, and they're asking why Izzy attacked Jensen, who is a member of their group, with a chair last week. She points out he wasn't committed to our group. He didn't dress like us, and then they show video evidence. He separated himself from them. They show evidence of them kind of going to the ring, and he's clearly like a couple steps behind them, right? And then they had an interview together where they talked about the importance of their family, and Jensen was like, his eyes were darting around and he was shifty and non-committal, and she shows that clip too. Says he wasn't committed. They talk about purging the weak and the feeble, and Jensen was both. And I like this part too, because Spears is like, wow, good for you. You noticed all that, and I missed it. So then it's like, do you see anything else, or do you have any other plans?
She has her eye on something.
She says she has her eye on. So I really like this. I thought Dame did a good job, and they're smartly shifting gears from Spears out of the spotlight. We know what you are. You're a veteran. You're basically like a player coach at this point, and we're trying to get new people. So Izzy Dame's moving to the forefront, and it's weird because Spears is a heel, but he actually seems to be wanting to develop a new leader. But like a
smart heel.
Right? He acknowledges her skills after laying out her case for Jensen, gives her a chance to make more decisions. And I like the idea of the young powerhouse Nico with tagging with like the slick, experienced veteran. I think that makes more sense to me. So I was super happy with the turnout of this. And then they basically face Briggs and Inamura, the culling do, and they win. It was only 5 minutes, but lots of high-speed smash mouth stuff for the most part. Like 3 of the 4 of these guys, other than Spears, right, are kind of work that style. Inamura has a stretch of really fun stuff here, and he's interesting because when you watch him, his stuff is pretty basic, but he has so much fire, emotion, and like speed, and then his weird body type, right? Mm-hmm. So he gets a lot out of doing really little, and I think that's pretty smart style. And they have some of these smash mouth guys like Hank and Tank, right? So I kind of enjoy it. Briggs gets knocked off the top. I can't remember if he was distracted or not. Vance hits his finishing slam thing that looks kind of cool. I've seen it. Short but fine. Gets the new version of the culling a win right out of the gate. Dame looked like the leader, right? You saw the entrance. She's clearly the one being focused on now, and I think that's a good idea. Francis, oh goodness. AJ Francis and Navarro show up to heal it up in the locker room with Briggs and Inamura a bit later, and I assume it's going to lead to a match. Elijah got in on this too. I don't remember what they're arguing about because I was just annoyed because I feel like, listen, I don't watch TNA for a reason, so why am I watching it on NXT?
This is what you get for that partnership.
It is what I get. It's not great for me. Trick informs us later that he's joining First Class for a 6-man tag against Briggs, Inamura, and Elijah in a match that I will probably avoid. But if it's on NXT, I guess I can't. Andre Chase gets the kids on board to let him teach them. They agree to stop coming to class late and to follow the rules. So we're just circling back, right, to Chase U's back in session kind of thing with the new crop. It's like people. Saved by the Bell, the new class, if that doesn't mean anything to you. But if there's old people out there listening, it might. Then the Blake Monroe vignette, right? She's in a bathtub. She's very glamorous, but she'll also punch you in the face.
The glamour.
And they have like a animated version of her and stuff. So
to reveal the name.
Yeah. It was. I'm torn. I'm gonna wait to see a bit more. I thought this was
far it's not.
It was definitely interesting. We'll see. Lash Legend and Ren Sinclair had a pretty rough 4-minute match. This was not good. Ren did apply like a cattle mutilation and sort of like floated around on it, which was cool. But something was off. Lash's finishing slam was garbage. They probably should have just done it again. Lash wins. Both of them have way better matches in this. And again, this was the first time I noticed Vic working hard. So Kalani Jordan's on commentary here, and he's asking her like very leading questions, clearly to get to like points she's supposed to hit, right, in this story. Mm-hmm. And she's not doing a very good job. So then he literally is just like, so basically, you know, you were backstage with Lash and you didn't think Lash was speaking to you very respectfully, so you came out here to insert your, like, here's what you were supposed to say, dummy.
Yeah.
And then Kalani's like, that's right, basically. So I thought that was funny. Jasper Troy's not worried about Obafemi not being able to compete. In fact, he's counting on Oba to compete, which I thought was kind of smart, right? Like, he gets Femi in a weakened state. He's using Femi's pride against him, right? Because he's, or I'm reading too much into it. Who knows? JC Jane retains her title against Lainey Reed in 10 minutes. So I haven't heard people as down on this as I am. Whoever gave this 10 minutes, that's a poor decision. I would say that of the 10 minutes, 7 were spent with almost nothing happening. They said Lainey Reed's only been wrestling for 1 year. So if that's true, she's doing fine. But giving her a 10-minute championship match on TV is just too big a leap. She is so inexperienced that it limited JC Jane. Like, she couldn't do anything on offense because Lainey Reed can't take anything. I don't know what JC Jane
can do.
Fair.
Otherwise.
But I think it was exaggerated here. She did hit a nice high knee, but then that came after a didn't get all of it blockbuster. And commentary tried so hard, like, well, that was her best bullet in the chamber, and she shot her best shot, and anyways, Jane retains with the discus forearm that they had to replay from a different angle because Reed backed away so fast from it that she didn't connect at all. So they had to go from, like, in real time, it was the side angle, and then they went from the behind, right? So it was rough, I thought. Ava makes a women's tournament, basically.
Women's tournament.
It's 4 singles matches leading to a 4-way, leading to a title shot. Sure.
Can't believe JC Jane's the NXT champion heading into second evolution. I think last time it was either Sane or Baszler.
Yep. Now we got Jane.
Yeah.
Tavion Heights wants a shot at Dempsey now. Javon Evans is there to support the idea. Obviously, Dempsey is against it. Looks like it's going to happen. The High Rise beat Tony D'Angelo and Luca Crucifino. So, excuse me. This was all about, I think there was a segment earlier too, like Tony doesn't think he can trust Luca. So it's all kinds of like, from Tony's perspective, Luca's doing shady things in the match, but from our perspective, it's possible that it's all just coincidental, right? So it's one of those. Stacks comes down with a crowbar. Tony fights him off. Luca ends up picking up the crowbar behind Tony. Tony turns around. Luca could have already brained him with the crowbar, but didn't. But Tony's obviously suspicious. Tony gets shoved into Luca from behind. High-rise finisher for the win. 10 minutes. Match was not great. It was just more story than match. Pretty standard. And then this is the second time when I was noticing Vic. So Graves is talking about like the potential of High Rise if they just listen to Wesley. And he's like, I don't know if you agree, Booker. And Booker's like, oh yes, 100%. But you could tell Booker had no idea, like he wasn't listening. Yeah. He has no idea what he agreed to. So then Vic is basically like, since you're talking about them, Booker, what are your thoughts on High Rise? Like here's, because you weren't listening. So I've noticed a lot of Vic like having to make saves on this show. Main event, you saw it. It's Oba Femi, Jasper Troy. Oba's taped up from the windshield incident early. Troy misses a senton early on, right? Better black hole slam this week.
He hit like a running splash straight out of the 80s. Like 80s big man.
I think the big thing here was he kicked out of the fall from grace, which might be the first guy. Troy gets thrown through the barricade. Fall from grace. Troy kicks out, but can't kick out from a second one. Femi retains. You did not like this. It was 12 minutes. I thought it was solid.
I thought Femi carried it decent, but I don't think Troy's very good or varied.
Neither man's very experienced, right? So I
think
thought it was
Oba
fine.
can do a good match. Troy did not seem very good.
He looked better than the week before.
Against Dante Chen.
Yeah. His offense is pretty basic, but he has size that helps make that look a little convincing.
He has chains.
He has chains. Not much drama to this. I didn't think Femi was ever losing. Solid showing for Troy. I think we're going to get a lot of him, right? He's going to be jammed down our throats, I feel like. It's like, hey, we copy and pasted Oba Femi. If we send Femi up, we have his replacement right here.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure. But anyways, NXT was interesting. Raw had some good wrestling. And that's all I have for this week, I think, yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get out of here. 2:56. It is, midnight-ish on Friday night, so this will be up on Saturday. Thanks for joining us, checking out us talking about wrestling. No PLEs this week from anyone, no pay-per-views, nothing. So we will be back for 2:57 next Saturday to talk about another week of wrestling. Thanks for joining us. Until then, everybody, take care.